So I don't know if you heard, but Hasbro's starting to raid customers' houses. I woke up this morning to the news that Hasbro hired a private investigation service to intimidate and essentially raid a YouTuber's house. And I thought at first, this can't be real. Somebody sent me a link to a TikTok video, and I thought, well, it's TikTok, so let me go look into this. And I went, and it was on Polygon and Kotaku, and of course, it's regarding Hasbro's forever troubled Magic the Gathering situation. This is now the next hit on the whole Magic the Gathering saga, this drama. Magic the Gathering collector purchased a set of cards from a legitimate dealer. The card set that showed up wasn't the card set that he expected it to be. It was something called Aftermath, and he had ordered something else. And the next thing he knew, he did a video about the set showing up, and then the next thing he knew, he had the Pinkertons at his house on behalf of Hasbro, threatening him with prison time and fines and all kinds of stuff, and intimidating him to hand over all of the material that he'd purchased without them bothering to compensate him for that purchase. They were accusing him of theft, said that he'd stolen this material. And as wacky as it sounds, Wizards of the Coast representatives confirmed to Kotaku and Polygon that this actually happened, that they did send private investigators, that they did employ them, and they were the Pinkertons, no less, to go to this man's house and threaten him and take all of his stuff, all the unreleased Magic stuff. They then hemmed and hawed about how they were going to try and compensate him a little. How about in full? Accusing somebody of being a thief, sending basically hired thugs to your house, because that's what the Pinkertons are. Law enforcement, doubtfully, I doubt law enforcement was involved in this. There's nothing to indicate they were. So that means that these agents from the Pinkertons did not have a warrant. And I get that this YouTuber is like playing nice with Hasbro over this, but last year we had Mattel shut down 2 Jurassic Park YouTube channels over legally acquiring items before street date. Now we've got Hasbro saying, hold my beer, I'm going to hire thugs to go after this YouTuber. We're not even going to go through the, hey, YouTube, please take this channel down, which is extreme enough. Nah, we're going to go full Streets of Rage on this guy over an unwitting misunderstanding. Now Hasbro and Mattel are teaming up because, as I've told you a million times, these companies are completely, irredeemably corporatized. And when you have a corporate culture that's that concrete, there are no ideas left. None. They've vacuumed up and swallowed up how many IPs in the past 35 years, let alone the other businesses they've acquired in the process. And both of them have gotten to the point where they're painted into corners in their own mind that they think, well, the best way forward is for us to team up with one another to keep pimping the last 5 brands we believe in between our 2 companies. We're not going to try to do any of the other stuff again. All these other IPs that we've got locked up from all the other corpses of the other companies we've looted. No, we've got to go forward together. even though we're the two biggest toy companies in the world and should both be completely autonomous as far as our resources and our abilities and our confidence. Nope. The only thing a corporation knows how to do is acquire. That's it. They know how to acquire and license. They do not know how to create. They have no ability to create. They know how to acquire and they know how to litigate. Those are the two things they know how to do. So what are they doing? Well, there's no more smaller companies for them to buy up. So they're just looking at one another across the table at the bar and going, well, I guess you and I have to go on a date now because not like we have any other options, even as behind them are warehouses full of good ideas that are just collecting dust that nobody else can use because they've eaten them all up. Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering being one of them that is in dire trouble right now. And this is just the latest chapter in that drama. Sending private investigators to a YouTuber's house and those guys threatening him. You know, I always knew that Hasbro was a terrible company. And I always knew that the Hasbros and all those guys who apologized for that company were fools. I wonder how they're feeling right now. It's so funny that this went down because yesterday this arrived. It was pre-ordered for quite a while. I was able to get Outback Dazzler from Sal at 2 Cents Toys, and he just wanted one other figure in that set when he bought it several months ago, last year. And I had heard Outback Rogue was coming, so I wanted her to be with the Dazzler Outback figure in my collection, so I pre-ordered it. It showed up from Big Bad Toy Store yesterday by coincidence. It was the last Hasbro item that I'd had pre-ordered. I don't have any Hasbro items pre-ordered at this point. And not hours after this, after I had been telling Sal and Laserpants at 3POA and Tony at Analog and a number of other people that are friends of mine, I had said, you know, I have this feeling that Outback Rogue is going to be my last Hasbro purchase. I just had this feeling. I've been saying it for months. Ask them. I've been saying, yeah, Outback Rogue is probably my last Hasbro purchase. And not 7 hours after this thing arrives, I find out about this. And if there was ever a reason to turn my back on anything to do with that company that has already been so problematic in our community and so problematic in the toy industry, it's now. And I'm not talking about, oh, boycott them till they change their tune or no, I'm not telling you guys what to do. You go do what you want. On principle, I'm turning my back on this company and walking away. There's nothing left there. They're firing thousands of employees. They've got no creativity left. The stuff they are putting out, as you saw from the video I did about their retro indie, their quality control is absent without leave. They're on the ropes. They're the biggest toy company in the world, but that just means they have a lot farther to fall. And they're a huge company, but it's almost like they're built on a bubble now. They've hollowed out everything that made them solid, and now they're just the illusion of a toy company as their stock prices plummet and they destroy brands like Magic the Gathering that are some of their bigger cash cows because they don't know how to make good decisions. I mean, this indie figure from the 6-inch line, I pre-ordered it prior to pre-ordering Outback Rogue. And the reason I did, I don't have any of the other figures in this set. I didn't even want this one. The only reason I was going to get it was because I knew people would ask me, what do I think of this 6-inch indie? I was going to do a video about it. But after this, you know, This thing is garbage. I'll just give you the short version. This thing is garbage. It's shocking to see that even in the format that they're supposed to do really well at, 6-inch, which their Marvel Legends stuff is from a different team, so it's better than their Black Series Indiana Jones team. This Marvel Legends Rogue, I'm sure, is fine. But this is terrible. I'm not going to sit around and continue to argue with people who turn a willful blind eye to companies like Hasbro and Mattel doing this stuff just so that they can get their plastic addiction fix. You can live without this stuff. And again, I ain't telling you what to do. But at this point, we would be infusing a company that would send private investigators after us for supporting their brands, no less, because we paid for it. We didn't steal anything. We would be emboldening them. In other words, we would be funding their ability to legally come after us over this kind of BS by buying this junk. Maybe I'm fortunate in the sense that, my Marvel Legends thing was finally, the steam for me was running out on it because I had everything I wanted. The timing was right. I saw Hasbro becoming an absolute crap bag of a company, an organization, a group of inept thugs, whatever you want to call them. All of those things are valid. But yeah, now they're teaming up with Mattel, who's also been pulling these antics because they're also out of ideas. They're not going to get their heads right, these companies. They're too corporate. They're in a fixed position culturally. They both run the same playbook. The MBA playbook. A lot of good that's done the world. And when a company teaches you how to treat it, just like people teach you how to treat them, it's really important to listen. And what Hasbro and Mattel have taught me is we have no loyalty to you. Not that I ever thought they did. But the funny part is that there for a while, for about 20 years or so in our teenage years and our childhood and everything like that, they at least made an effort to pretend. When these companies had to compete in the marketplace, they made an effort to make you feel like they cared. And maybe some of them actually did. But even when they started to, consolidate and get bigger and bigger, and suddenly there were fewer and fewer in the marketplace, there was still a little bit of that, we give a crap about our customers. We do care. With Hasbro and very arguably Mattel, that filter's gone. They don't have that filter anymore. It's, we don't care about you. We don't care. We just want your money. And that would be fine, since you're a business, if you treated those people that handed you that money with respect in the form of decent products and not this garbage, in the form of not price hiking just to gouge, and not sending private investigators to their damn houses, and not shutting down their YouTube channels. But hey, what do I know? What do any of us know? I'm sure there's going to be somebody saying, well, if you haven't ever been a big company, you shouldn't judge a big company. Those same people would be singing a very different tune. They would be singing a different tune if those investigators had shown up at their front door and scared their wife and their kids. When you get those signals, when the universe is sending you signals, listen to them. That's what I've always believed. And so the universe has sent me a lot of signals in the last few months. I'm wanting to move into other things, content-wise. I'm tired of this Hasbro Mattel garbage on both a business level and, all that kind of crap. I'm tired of the way they treat their customers through their products, through their quality control issues, through their heightened prices, through their business models like crowdfunding that they certainly don't need. I'm tired of them having no ideas, just a complete drought or dearth of any creativity within those walls. And I'm really, really incensed by the way they've treated the community. They have officially, at this point, taken all of us for granted. They moved over to court adult dollars over the last 25 years increasingly, while still treating everybody like they were 7 years old. Playing both sides of the fence against one another in our community. Made you think through those Pulse streams and other live streams that they're just like us, they're our friends. And I've always said they are not our friends. These companies are not our friends. Do you need any more proof than what happened today? Technically yesterday, but it was reported today. Do you need any more proof? What's it going to take to acknowledge that these companies are evil? They are, at best, they're sociopathic. The people running these companies are sociopaths. They have no feeling whatsoever. I'm actually shocked that the guy, I know what intimidation must be like on that level, but if they didn't have a warrant, I'm shocked he let them into his house. And again, maybe they did have a warrant, but that would imply that the cops were there as well, and it didn't seem like they were. I could be wrong about that. I mean, either way, the stuff got handed over. But the point I'm trying to make is that guy has every right to sue Hasbro over this, a legitimate lawsuit over this. This is overreach. The Pinkertons? It does baffle me that they don't have anybody with cooler heads at Hasbro or Mattel to prevail in smarter ways of handling things like this that happen, handling accidental product purchases before street date, which seem to be occurring more and more with these companies as they become less able to stay organized because they've become so big. But in this particular case, this guy legitimately buys these cards. They're before the street date. He doesn't know that. He's just a customer buying Magic cards, all right? He gets the cards. He does the video. Instead of them getting angry and sending private investigators to his house, these intimidating Pinkerton thugs, Hasbro could have played that far more coolly. I don't know what their PR department or their legal team are smoking or vaping in this case over there, but they could have just said, you know what, rather than make a big deal out of this, let's just put a comment on the video and say, cool, what do you think of them? Or cool, hope you enjoy them. Or thanks for letting us know what you think. Don't even make a big deal out of it. They don't have the capacity to do that anymore because they don't feel they need to. They're happy to just ride roughshod right over all of us. It's unbelievable. And they don't deserve our attention anymore. Put a fork in these companies. They are done.